My brother slept with my fiancée, so I played the video at a family meeting, cancelled the wedding, and disappeared from their lives while they tried to explain the truth. I'm 30 years old. I work as a financial analyst for a mid-sized investment firm. I make decent money, own a reliable car, and in 3 weeks I was supposed to marry the woman I'd been with for 6 years. From the outside, everything looked like it was finally clicking into place. My fiancée Audrey and I met in our mid-20s through mutual friends. She was smart, funny, ambitious in her own way. We had the kind of relationship people called solid, not explosive passion, but steady. Comfortable. We talked about buying a house after the wedding, maybe starting a family in a few years. Normal stuff. My family seemed happy about it too. My parents had been married for 35 years. My younger brother Preston was doing well in the family construction business. Everyone got along at holidays. No major drama. Well, except for the usual dynamic. Preston was always the golden child. 3 years younger than me, but somehow always the center of attention. When he got mediocre grades in high school, it was he's so creative, school just doesn't suit him. When I graduated top of my class, it was that's nice, honey, before moving on to discussing Preston's latest project. He'd fumble through community college, work inconsistent hours at our dad's company, show up late to family dinners, and still be the one everyone praised. I learned early to just keep my head down and work. Maybe if I achieved enough, earned enough, succeeded enough, I'd get the same attention. It never worked, but I kept trying anyway. 3 weeks before the wedding, I came home from work around 6:30. It had been a long day, month-end close, which always meant extra hours. I was thinking about ordering takeout and reviewing the final seating chart when I noticed the package. Small cardboard box, sitting right in front of my apartment door. No return address. No shipping label. Just my first name written in black marker. I brought it inside, set it on the kitchen counter. Opened it carefully. Inside was a flash drive and a folded piece of paper. The note had 4 words, "Thought you should see this." No signature. No explanation. I stared at it for a minute, then plugged the flash drive into my laptop. One video file. Dated 3 nights ago, the night of Audrey's bachelorette party. I clicked play. The video was clearly shot on someone's phone. Shaky footage, dim lighting, loud music thumping in the background. Some bar downtown I didn't recognize. Groups of women dancing, laughing, holding drinks. I spotted Audrey's friends in the frame, her maid of honor, her college roommate, a few others. Then the camera panned right. And there they were. Audrey and Preston. In a corner booth, partially hidden by shadows, but unmistakable. His hand was on her waist. Her hand was in his hair. They were kissing, not a quick, drunken mistake. A real kiss. Deep, familiar, comfortable. Like they'd done it before. They broke apart, both laughing about something. Then they kissed again. The video lasted maybe 15 seconds. Then it cut off. I sat there, staring at the frozen final frame. I should probably say my heart was racing. That I felt sick. That I started shaking or crying or threw my laptop across the room. But I didn't. I just felt cold. I watched it again. Then a third time. The way they moved together wasn't awkward. It wasn't hesitant. Preston's hand knew exactly where to rest on her hip. Audrey leaned into him like it was natural. This wasn't the first time. My phone buzzed. Text from Audrey, "Just finished yoga. Wanna grab dinner tomorrow to finalize the rehearsal schedule? Love you," red heart emoji. Another buzz. Preston, "Yo, you free this weekend? Dad wants us both at the site to look at the foundation work." I set my phone face down on the counter. For a few minutes I just sat there in my quiet apartment, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, watching the sky darken outside my window. Then I opened my laptop, navigated away from the video, and opened a new document. I didn't call them. I didn't text. I didn't even cry. I just opened my laptop and started making a list. The list had 3 columns: vendor, contact info, cancellation policy. I spent 2 hours that night going through every contract, every receipt, every confirmation email. The venue. The caterer. The photographer. The florist. The DJ. The cake. The officiant. The rehearsal dinner reservation. The honeymoon flights and hotel. 23 items total. Most had cancellation clauses. A few would cost me deposits, but not many. We'd been careful about that, ironically. Audrey had insisted on vendors with flexible policies just in case. I guess she got her wish. Before I started calling anyone, I made copies of the video. Uploaded one to a secure cloud account I created with a burner email. Saved another to an external hard drive. Emailed a third copy to myself from an anonymous account. I learned this from work: always have backups. Always document everything. Then I went to bed. I woke up at 6:30 like always. Showered, made coffee, put on a suit. Checked my phone over breakfast. 3 texts from Audrey: "Morning babe." Followed by a photo of color swatches for napkins, followed by leaning toward the sage green: "What do you think?" I responded, "Sage looks good. Have a great day." 1 text from Preston: "Seriously though, Dad's being annoying about this foundation thing. Can you come Saturday?" Me: "I'll let you know." I drove to work, sat through my morning meetings, analyzed spreadsheets, answered emails. Around 11:30, during my lunch break, I walked outside and called the venue. "Hi, this is regarding the wedding on the 24th. I need to cancel." The woman on the other end was quiet for a moment. "Oh. I'm so sorry to hear that. Can I ask the reason?" "Irreconcilable differences." She didn't push. Processed the cancellation. Confirmed they'd refund the deposit minus a small administrative fee. The whole conversation took 4 minutes. Next I called the caterer. Then the photographer. Then the florist. By the time I walked back into the office, 5 vendors were gone. That afternoon I sat in a budget review meeting and nodded along while my boss talked about Q4 projections. My phone buzzed twice. Audrey asking if I'd confirmed the final guest count with my parents. Preston sending a meme about something. I responded to both during a bathroom break. Normal. Casual. After work I stopped at the gym, ran 3 miles on the treadmill, went home. Ordered Chinese takeout. Ate it while I crossed more items off the list. DJ. Honeymoon reservations. The cake. 8 calls. 8 cancellations. Day 2, I woke up and did it all again. Morning coffee. Shower. Suit. Work. Audrey texted during lunch: "Don't forget to pick up your tuxedo this week." Me: "I'll grab it tomorrow." There was no tuxedo to pick up anymore. I'd cancelled that too. Between meetings, I called the rehearsal dinner venue. Then the officiant, some friend of Audrey's aunt who'd agreed to do the ceremony. She sounded sad when I explained. Said she understood. Wished me well. The honeymoon took longer. 2 flights, a resort booking, travel insurance. But by 4 p.m., it was done. Everything was done. 23 cancellations in 2 days. Nobody knew. I started noticing things I'd ignored before. Like how at my parents' house last month, my dad spent 20 minutes bragging about Preston landing some minor contract for the business. When I mentioned my promotion to senior analyst, a position I'd worked 3 years for, my mom said, "That's wonderful, honey," and immediately asked Preston about his new truck. Or how at our engagement party, Preston kept finding excuses to talk to Audrey. Brought her drinks. Laughed too loud at her jokes. Put his hand on her shoulder when he walked past. And she'd smiled at him in a way that should have made me uncomfortable, but I dismissed as just being friendly. Or how many family photos from the last 5 years had me standing on the edge, slightly out of frame, while Preston stood center with our parents beaming at him. I'd spent 30 years being the background character in my own family. At 4:44 p.m. on day 2, my mom called. I was at my desk, finishing up a report. Almost didn't answer. "Hey, Mom." "Hi, sweetheart." Her voice had that tight, controlled quality she used when she was stressed but trying to hide it. "Your father and I were hoping you could come over tomorrow evening. Around 7. We'd like to have a family meeting." "A family meeting?" "Yes. Just the 5 of us. You, Audrey, Preston, me, and your dad. We need to discuss some things before the wedding." I leaned back in my chair. "What things?" "We can talk about it tomorrow. Can you be there?" She didn't know I knew. But she knew something. Maybe a vendor had called to confirm a cancellation and mentioned talking to the groom. Maybe one of Audrey's friends had a crisis of conscience. Maybe Preston slipped up. Didn't matter. "Yeah," I said. "I can be there. 7 o'clock. Don't be late." "I won't." She hung up. I sat there for a minute, staring at my computer screen. Then I packed up my stuff, drove home, and spent an hour testing the connection between my phone and my parents' TV. Made sure the video would play perfectly. Adjusted the volume. Checked it twice. They wanted a family meeting to fix the situation. Perfect. But I wasn't coming to fix anything. I pulled into my parents' driveway at 6:58 p.m., Preston's truck was already there. So was Audrey's sedan. Through the living room window I could see movement, everyone gathering, getting settled, preparing for whatever intervention they'd planned. I sat in my car for a moment. Phone in my hand, video queued up, ready to go. Then I got out and walked to the door. My mom answered before I could knock. "Oh good, you're here." She hugged me, that quick, distracted hug she'd perfected over the years. The kind that checked a box without actually conveying warmth. "Everyone's in the living room." I followed her inside. Preston sat in the armchair by the window, trying to look casual, but his leg was bouncing. Audrey perched on the ottoman near the couch, hands folded in her lap, eyes red like she'd been crying. My parents took their usual spots on the couch, Mom on the left, Dad on the right, the same positions they'd occupied for as long as I could remember. "Sit down, sweetheart," Mom said, gesturing to the empty chair across from them. I stayed standing. My dad cleared his throat. "We've been hearing some concerning things." His voice had that stern, disappointed edge he usually reserved for Preston screw-ups, except this time it was aimed at me. "Your mother got a call from the wedding venue yesterday. They said you canceled." "Then the caterer called," Mom added. Her voice was gentle but strained. "And the photographer. We're confused, honey. If you're having cold feet, that's normal, but you can't just cancel everything without talking to anyone," Dad finished. "It's not like you to be impulsive. Audrey is devastated." I glanced at Audrey. She was staring at me with desperate, pleading eyes. Her lip trembled. "We're worried you're making a huge mistake," Mom continued. "Every couple has doubts before the wedding. It's a big step. But you don't throw away 6 years over stress. Whatever's wrong, we can work through it. As a family." Preston shifted in his chair but said nothing. His jaw was tight. They were all looking at me. Waiting for me to break down. To be vulnerable. To need their guidance and support. To let them fix me, fix this, smooth everything over like they always did when family image was at stake. I pulled out my phone. "What are you doing?" Dad asked. I walked over to the TV, found the HDMI cable I knew they kept plugged in behind the entertainment center. Connected my phone. "Honey, we don't need theatrics," Mom said, her voice sharpening. "We're trying to have an adult conversation." The TV screen flickered on. "What is this?" Dad stood up from the couch. I pressed play. The bar scene filled their 55-inch screen. Loud music. Flashing lights. Crowded dance floor. "Turn it off," Mom said immediately. "Whatever this is, we don't need." Then the camera panned. And there they were. Preston and Audrey in the corner booth. His hand on her waist. Her hand in his hair. Kissing. "Wait," Preston shot up from his chair. "That's not what it looks like." They broke apart on screen. Laughed. Kissed again. Audrey made a choked sound and covered her face with her hands, shoulders shaking. Mom reached for the remote. "Turn it off right now. We don't need to see this." Dad just stared at the screen, face going red. I let it play. All 15 seconds. Until it cut to black. Then silence. Preston started stammering. "It was a stupid mistake. We were drunk. It didn't mean anything. I swear it was just." "Please," Audrey sobbed. "Please let me explain. I love you. It was one moment of weakness, I never meant." "Turn that off," Mom demanded, but the video had already ended. She looked at me, then at Preston, then at Audrey. "This is clearly a misunderstanding. Everyone calm down. We need to talk about this like adults. All right, everyone stop." Dad's voice cut through the chaos. He was using his contractor voice, the one he used to control job sites. "Let's all take a breath and figure out what actually happened here." I looked at each of them. My brother, still stammering excuses. My fiancée, crying into her hands. My parents, already moving into damage control mode. Already trying to minimize, to explain away, to find some angle where this could be fixed. "The wedding's over," I said. My voice was calm. Almost pleasant. "I canceled everything 2 days ago. The venue, the caterer, the photographer, the florist, the DJ, the cake, the honeymoon. All of it." The room went still. "You can't just," Dad started. "It's done. We can work through this," Mom said quickly. "Couples therapy, family counseling, whatever it takes. You can reschedule." "No." Audrey looked up at me, mascara streaking her face. "I'm so sorry. It was a mistake. I made a terrible mistake. But we can fix this. Please. 6 years. Thank you," I said. Everyone stopped. What? Mom whispered. Thank you for finally showing me the truth. I headed for the door. Wait, Mom stood up. What does that mean? Where are you going? Dad moved toward me. You need to stay and talk about this. Running away isn't going to solve anything. Preston started to follow. Come on, man. Don't do this. I didn't turn around. I walked out of the house, got in my car, and drove away. In my rearview mirror, I could see them standing in the doorway. Mom reaching out. Dad shouting something. Preston on the lawn. I didn't look back. That night, I packed everything I owned into my car and made myself disappear. I got back to my apartment around 9:45 p.m. The family meeting had lasted less than 30 minutes. Probably felt longer to them. I left my car running in the parking lot while I unlocked my door. No point turning it off, I'd be loading it soon enough. My phone started buzzing before I even got inside. I moved through the apartment methodically. Opened my closet, pulled out 2 large duffel bags and a suitcase. Started with essentials, clothes, toiletries, shoes. Filled the first bag in 10 minutes. My phone lit up on the kitchen counter. Mom calling. I ignored it and kept packing. Laptop, chargers, external hard drives. Work files I kept at home. My degree, framed and gathering dust on a shelf my parents never asked about. The good kitchen knife I bought myself. My grandfather's watch, the only family heirloom I actually cared about. He died when I was 12, before Preston became the center of everything. Another call. Preston this time. Then Audrey. Then Mom again. I opened my desk drawer and pulled out my important documents. Birth certificate, passport, social security card, car title, insurance papers, tax returns. Slid them into a folder, tucked the folder into my laptop bag. The buzzing didn't stop. By 10:30 p.m., I had 3 bags packed and sitting by the door. I did one more sweep. Bathroom, grabbed my prescription bottles, contact lens solution, the electric toothbrush. Bedroom, unplugged my phone charger from the wall, grabbed the external battery pack. My phone screen showed 31 missed calls. I picked it up and scrolled through the notifications. Mom, please come back. Let's talk about this. Mom, you're upset. I understand. But walking away won't solve anything. Dad, call me back. Now. Preston, dude, I know you're pissed but you're blowing this way out of proportion. Preston, it was one mistake. 1. You're going to throw away our entire family over this? Audrey, I love you. Please. It was a moment of weakness. I never meant to hurt you. Audrey, we can go to counseling. I'll do anything. Please just talk to me. Mom, your brother is devastated. Your fiancé hasn't stopped crying. Please don't do this to our family. I read that last one twice. Our family. Not you. I scrolled further. 44 missed calls total. 89 text messages. 1 voicemail from my dad, you're acting like a child. Come back and we'll sort this out like adults. This isn't how you handle problems. I set the phone down and stared at it for a minute. Then I picked it back up, took screenshots of everything, the calls, the texts, the voicemail transcriptions, and uploaded them to the same cloud account where I'd stored the video. Documentation. Always document. At 11:43 p.m., I powered the phone down completely. From my nightstand drawer, I pulled out the new phone I'd bought 3 days ago. Basic smartphone, prepaid plan, different carrier. I'd activated it yesterday and saved exactly 2 contacts, my boss and my college roommate G, who moved to Denver 4 years ago. The new phone had 1 text waiting. From my boss, sent this afternoon, hope everything's okay. Take whatever time you need. I responded, thanks. I'll be back Monday. New number, please don't share it with anyone. He replied within seconds, understood. I turned off the lights, took one last look around the apartment. The lease was up in 2 weeks anyway. I'd handle it remotely. Right now, I just needed to leave. I loaded the last bag into my car at midnight. The trunk was full, back seat packed. Everything I actually cared about fit into one sedan. I drove across the city to an extended stay hotel near the interstate. Far enough from my old neighborhood that running into anyone I knew would be nearly impossible. The night clerk barely looked at me when I checked in. Paid cash for 2 weeks up front. He handed me a key card and went back to his phone. Room 214. Second floor, facing the parking lot. I hauled my bags up the stairs and locked the door behind me. The room was generic. Beige walls, floral bedspread, small kitchenette, bathroom with fluorescent lighting. It smelled like industrial cleaner and someone else's life. I sat on the edge of the bed and let myself breathe. I woke up at 6:30 the next morning out of habit. My old phone was still off, buried at the bottom of my duffel bag. I pulled out my laptop instead and got to work. First, blocked every number from my old phone. Every single one. Parents, Preston, Audrey, extended family, mutual friends who'd probably get roped into this. Second, changed all my passwords. Email, bank accounts, streaming services, credit cards, everything. Set up two-factor authentication on accounts that didn't have it. Third, opened new bank accounts at a completely different institution. Transferred everything from my old accounts, checking, savings, investment portfolio. Left $10 in each old account so they'd stay open and not trigger closure notifications yet. Fourth, called my credit card company and updated my mailing address to a P.O. box I'd set up yesterday at a post office across town. Fifth, emailed my HR department from my work account. Due to a family emergency, I need to be unreachable outside of work hours. Please do not give out my personal contact information to anyone, including family members. I appreciate your discretion. I'll be in Monday as scheduled. HR responded within an hour, noted. Your file has been flagged. Let us know if you need anything else. Over the next 3 days, I found a new apartment. Different side of the city. Smaller than my old place but newer, cleaner, in a building with security and a policy against giving out resident information. I signed the lease, paid first month and deposit, scheduled move-in for the following week. I bought basics from Target. New sheets, new towels, cheap dishes, a coffee maker. Stuff that had nothing to do with my old life. By day 7, I was living in my new apartment. New address that no one from my past knew. New phone number that no one had. New bank accounts. New morning routine at a different coffee shop. They wanted me to explain myself, to fight for them, to give them a chance to make excuses. Instead, I gave them silence. Permanent silence. Week 2, my new phone buzzed during lunch. Gee, dude. Your mom somehow got my number. She called me 3 times this morning asking where you are. What's going on? I stepped outside the office building to respond. Me, long story. Don't tell them anything. I'm fine. Gee, she sounded pretty desperate. Your dad left a voicemail too. Should I be worried? Me, no. Just don't engage. I'll explain later. He didn't push. That's why G was one of 2 people who had this number. Over the next few weeks, G became my reluctant source of intel. He didn't seek it out, but people kept finding him. Week 3, your brother showed up at your old apartment building. The new tenant said some guy was banging on the door asking about you. Building manager had to get involved. Week 4, your fiancée, ex-fiancée? Tried calling my girlfriend. Haven't talked to her in 2 years and she still tracked down the number. Didn't answer. Week 5, your mom is calling everyone we went to college with. My girlfriend's roommate from sophomore year just texted asking if I knew where you were. I absorbed each update without comment. Just filed the information away. By week 4, I'd settled into a routine. Morning coffee at a place called Brewpoint, 3 blocks from my new apartment. The barista learned my order, black coffee, sometimes a breakfast sandwich. I never told her my name and she never asked. Work was good. Better than good, actually. Without the constant stress of managing family expectations and wedding planning, I'd been focusing harder. Finished a major client portfolio analysis 2 weeks ahead of schedule. My boss mentioned it in our team meeting. Really solid work on the Hutchinson account, he said. Keep this up and we'll talk about expanding your responsibilities. I nodded. Didn't mention that expanding my responsibilities meant I'd finally have something my parents never gave me, recognition for actually doing the work. Month 2, I started seeing a therapist. Not because I regretted anything. I just needed to process 30 years of being invisible. Her name was Dr. Reyes. Small office, comfortable chairs, no judgment in her voice when I explained what happened. You mentioned your brother was the golden child, she said during our 3rd session. Can you tell me more about that dynamic? I told her about the birthday they forgot because they were planning Preston's engagement party. About the promotion I earned that got a "that's nice, honey" while Preston's mediocre contract got a celebration dinner. About spending my whole childhood trying to earn the same attention he got for just existing. It sounds like you spent a lot of energy trying to be worthy of love, she said. Yeah. And now? Now I'm just trying to figure out who I actually am when I'm not performing for anyone. Month 3, G sent me screenshots. Mom had posted on Facebook, "If anyone has seen or heard from my name, please contact me immediately. We're very worried about him and just want to know he's safe." The comments were full of concerned friends and relatives. "Praying for your family. Hope he's okay. Let us know if we can help." I read through them once, then deleted the screenshots. Month 4, G again, "Heads up, your dad apparently hired someone to find you. Private investigator or something. Guy showed up at your old building asking questions." I wasn't worried. New address, new phone, new bank, privacy protection on all my public records. I'd been thorough. Month 5, my boss called me into his office. "Everything okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just wanted to give you a heads up. Your parents showed up at reception yesterday. Security handled it, but I wanted you to know." He paused. "Are you safe? Do we need to involve anyone?" "I'm fine," I said. "Just a family situation I've chosen to step away from." "I appreciate you asking." "All right. Well, we flagged your file. They won't be allowed back in the building." "Thank you." He nodded. "Also, HR wanted me to mention, we're impressed with your work lately. There's a senior analyst position opening up next quarter. We'd like you to apply." I walked out of his office feeling something I hadn't felt in years, valued. Month 6, everything changed. I got the promotion. Senior financial analyst, 15% raise, better benefits. Signed the paperwork on a Tuesday. That weekend, I joined a running club that met Saturday mornings. Made friends with a guy named Gordon who worked in insurance and a woman named Felicity who was a physical therapist. We got coffee after runs. Made plans to do a 10K together in the spring. I bought actual furniture for my apartment. A decent couch, a coffee table, a bookshelf. Hung art on the walls. Learned I was pretty good at cooking when I wasn't stressed about everything else. Started casually seeing someone from a different department at work. Her name was Vanessa. She asked about my family on our third date. I said we weren't in contact. She just nodded and said, "That must have been a hard decision." Didn't push for details. One evening, I sat in my apartment eating pasta I'd made myself, listening to music I actually liked, reading a book I'd been meaning to get to for years. And I realized, I was happy. Not pretending to be happy. Not performing happiness for someone else's benefit. Actually, genuinely happy. My old life looked perfect on paper, stable relationship, family dinners, wedding planning, white picket fence future. But it was hollow. Built on me constantly trying to earn approval that never came. This new life was simple. Quiet. Mine. No performances. No hoping someone would finally notice I existed. No waiting for my turn to matter. 6 months of silence. 6 months of them searching. 6 months of me building something they couldn't touch. And then I finally let myself look back at what I'd left behind. Month 7, G texted, "I ran into your mom at the grocery store. It was awkward. She asked if I'd heard from you. I said no. She started crying in the produce section. Your dad had to take her home." A pause, then, "Are you ever going back?" I stared at the text for a minute before responding. "Me, wanna grab coffee this weekend? I'm in town for work." "Gee, yeah. Saturday?" We met at a place downtown, neutral territory between his hotel and my neighborhood. He'd flown in for a conference. I got there first, ordered my coffee, sat by the window. G walked in 10 minutes later looking uncomfortable. "Man," he said, sliding into the chair across from me. "You look different." "Different how?" "I don't know. Less tense, I guess." He ordered a latte, then turned back to me. "So, 6 months. 6 months. Your family's losing their minds." "I know." He leaned back in his chair. "Your mom's been calling mutual friends. Your dad hired someone to find you, did you know that?" "I heard. They're not taking this well. Your parents, I mean." He paused. "Their marriage is apparently pretty rough right now. My girlfriend heard from someone who heard from your aunt. Your mom blames your dad for the favoritism. Your dad blames your mom for not seeing what was happening. They barely talk at family dinners anymore." I sipped my coffee and said nothing. "Preston's not doing great either," G continued. "That video? Someone leaked it to your extended family. And their social circle. Nobody knows who, but it spread fast." I kept my expression neutral. "His reputation's trashed. Friends stopped talking to him. He had to move back in with your parents, which apparently made everything worse. Golden child fell off his pedestal pretty hard." "And Audrey?" Left the city. Moved to the West Coast somewhere. Too much shame, I guess. Nobody's heard from her in months. I nodded slowly. Felt nothing. G watched me carefully. They tried everything to find you, you know. The investigator came up empty. They showed up at your old job, security kicked them out. They've been calling everyone we knew in college. You really disappeared. That was the point. Do you ever think about reaching out? He asked. I mean, it's been months. Your mom seemed genuinely broken. I set down my coffee. Broken because I'm gone? Or broken because she never valued me when I was there? G didn't answer. They're not sorry for how they treated me, I said. They're sorry I'm not around to be the family's backup plan anymore. Sorry their golden child showed his true colors. Sorry their reputation took a hit. But sorry for 30 years of making me invisible? No. That's fair. I told him about therapy. About the patterns Dr. Reyes helped me see. How I'd spent my entire life trying to earn love through achievement. Staying quiet, causing no problems, hoping that if I just succeeded enough, they'd finally notice me. But they never did, I said. They gave Preston everything: praise, forgiveness, attention, chances. I got leftovers. And I accepted it because I thought that's what love looked like. G nodded slowly. I'm training for a half marathon now, I continued. Got promoted to senior analyst. Have actual friends who text me just to hang out, not because they need something. Started seeing someone who doesn't know anything about my past. How's that going? Good. She asked about my family last week. I said we're not in contact. She didn't push. Just said it must have been a hard decision. First person who understood it was my decision, not something that happened to me. You seem happy. I am. G was quiet for a moment. So you're really never going back? Back to what? I asked. There's nothing there for me. They want the version of me that made them comfortable. The one who stayed quiet, forgave everything, put their needs first. That person doesn't exist anymore. We sat in silence. Outside, people walked past the window. Regular Saturday morning. Sun cutting through clouds. Nothing dramatic. I don't regret it, I said finally. Cutting them off completely. You can't regret losing something you never really had. G paid for his coffee. We walked outside together. He had a conference session in an hour. I had a running club meetup at noon. Take care of yourself, he said. You too. He headed toward his hotel. I walked back to my car. That night, Vanessa came over. We cooked dinner together, nothing fancy, just chicken and vegetables. She told me about her week. I told her about mine. We watched a movie, fell asleep on my couch. Simple. Easy. Real. Sometimes people ask if I regret cutting them off so completely. Friends of friends who heard pieces of the story. Coworkers who notice I never mention family. The answer is simple: you can't regret losing something you never really had. My family treated me like I was optional my entire life. Like I didn't matter unless they needed something. Like I should be grateful for whatever scraps of attention they threw my way. They spent years treating me like I was invisible. So I made it official. They wanted me to explain myself. To fight for them. To beg for a chance to prove I was worth their time. Instead, I walked away. Built a new life where I don't have to perform for anyone's approval. Where I'm valued for who I am, not for how useful I can be. Where I finally matter. Best decision I ever made. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.